is Papa Shango. And you are listening to Icopod. Beware of Papa Shango. Beware of voodoo. And definitely beware of Icopod.
And we're back with episode 95 of Icopod. I'm Bob Conley Jr. And with me, as always, is Austin Skinner. Austin, how are you doing on this Sunday evening? And by evening, I mean afternoon of recording for Icopod.
Yeah, it's throwing me off a little bit because usually, like, I'm sitting in my living room, right? I can barely see Bob because he never has any lights on. But today, the beautiful Orlando sun is shining through my woodblock shutters in my window, and it's a beautiful day out there. It's supposed to be roughly 90 today, I believe, in late October. And I am inside, not enjoying the beautiful weather of Orlando, making sacrifices here for Icopod. So it's a great day outside. It's a great day inside. We're going to talk about some grade A, just pure entertainment, WWF programming, just top shelf shit this week. And I couldn't be more excited for it.
Well, I'm the one that has the real sacrifice because I am sacrificing my attention to NFL football today to sit down and talk to you about this bullshit stuff that we've been watching for the last 6 weeks. You're lucky that the Vikings played on Thursday and they beat the Redskins, just to give you guys an idea of where we're at in recording. This is probably coming out in late November at this rate.
So it's like the Super Bowl.
No, the Super Bowl is in February.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know.
Yeah, whatever.
It's the Turkey Bowl.
Yeah. So, Austin, do you remember FYE?
Yes, I do. And you know what? Speaking of that, I recently just found out that there is one down here in Orlando in like some random mall, kind of like in the sticks a little bit.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, I know I should have known that you would know because you, me, and Hogan 98 Money have gone to FYE together
Several times.
Yeah. Well, here in Syracuse, they got rid of both of them. And,
wow.
The one that was in Destiny and the one in Great Northern. But there is still one in Watertown, New York.
Oh.
And that's where Sarah and I went on Thursday. We took a little trip up there.
Okay.
And I proceeded to spend...
No. Oh, no.
Proceeded to spend roughly $126 at FYE. And I have no regret.
Say that again?
Yeah, I spent $126 at FYE in Watertown, New York.
And I'm willing to bet significantly that A, they were all DVDs.
Okay.
And B, 75% of them were wrestling related.
Okay. So the majority of them were DVDs.
Okay.
And none of them were wrestling.
Get the fuck out of here. You're lying.
I swear.
You bought regular movies?
Well, I bought a few regular movies, and I bought, are you ready for this? One of my favorite shows ever. Even though, as I've been watching it now, I'm realizing these characters are kind of assholes. I bought the complete series of Boy Meets World.
Oh, okay. A little Vader classic and thrown in there.
So there is some wrestling related.
Yeah.
Vader and Jake the Snake Roberts were both on that show.
Right. Bret Hart and Chris Benoit are also in the opening, which is pretty cool.
No, that is for Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh yeah. Well, I was testing you.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
I also bought SpongeBob season 9.
you have all of them, don't you?
No, I don't. I gotta get season 10. It just came out on Amazon.
What season are they on currently with SpongeBob SquarePants? Like 20?
Wait, no, see that Sarah thought the same thing. I'm pretty sure it's only like season 12.
Wow.
And season 10 just came out on DVD, so they're like a year behind or season behind, I guess,
Okay.
in releasing them. And I do think there's kind of like large gaps in between.
Release?
Yeah, because you know that they freaking do reruns constantly.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
same thing. Like they could just do those literally forever and not make a new single one at all, and people couldn't have told you any differently.
Right, right.
Yeah, so they are currently on season 12. And well, I guess they've been renewed for season 13 as well. So
Shocker. Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have like SpongeBob is a sweet spot for you.
yeah, I mean, I can't say it's like a guilty pleasure because I'm not ashamed of it. I enjoy Patrick Star out of the whole group for sure.
Right.
But yeah, I do have a sweet spot for SpongeBob.
What is your favorite SpongeBob episode?
No weenies allowed. It's the episode where SpongeBob tries to go into the Salty Spittoon to be a tough guy, slips on an ice cube, and then has to go to Weenie Hut Hospital or whatever. But the favorite part of that entire episode is with Patrick when SpongeBob calls him Tubby because they're gonna fake a fight, and SpongeBob nobody calls me Tubby. Boom, decks him, and then they proceed. Or Patrick proceeds to beat himself up.
Yeah.
Literally. And I remember the first time ever seeing that, I could not stop laughing. I was probably, man, I don't know exactly when. Let me see here. That's like season 3. So I was about maybe 12 or 13 when I first saw it.
Yeah.
And I was just dying of laughter. And my dad did not understand why I was laughing. And I couldn't explain it to him. Because he wasn't going to understand what I'm talking about.
No, you don't know.
So, yeah, that was the whole thing. I want to point out right now that there is significant gaps in how SpongeBob works. And I know people listening to IcoPod definitely came into this thinking, hoping to learn about SpongeBob SquarePants.
Right.
So early on, they have like, I guess, segments, quote unquote, which are then episodes. They're all roughly, 20 to 26, it looks like. But some of these go on for like 2 years.
Oh.
So there's like significant, like in season 3, there's 37 segments. It first aired October 5th, 2001, last aired October 11th, 2004. I don't know if that's in reference to reruns and everything.
Well, I was going to say, probably.
The original run of the stuff. I would have to think. But yeah, that's incredible. That's a lot of shit.
Yeah, so mine, just for reference, is the hash slinging slasher episode.
He's in the mailbox.
No. That's the fucking.
Oh, wait. You're talking about like the phone call guy?
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah. I like that one. I love when he gets like rock bottom, where he's like after Glove World, they're down in that little.
Yeah.
He's like trying to catch the bus and all that shit. I really like that one. The Maniac is a good episode too. The one you were just talking about.
Yeah, the Maniac.
Yeah, dude. There's some good classic shit in there.
My other one, I don't want to go too much into this. Could just turn into a whole SpongeBob episode. Is Frankendoodle. SpongeBob draws himself. And Patrick's like, just look at him. He's square. He wears a tie. He looks ludicrous. And then SpongeBob's like, he's like, oh, it looks great on you though. Or when the doodle guy throws a bowling ball, Patrick's face turns into a bowling pin. Where's the leak, ma'am? Finland. He's just so out of it.
So good. Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy that stuff. But yeah, so I bought Boy Meets World, SpongeBob season 9. It's always Sunny in Philadelphia season 9 and season 10. Turns out I already have season 9. So if anybody's out there that needs a season 9 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, let me know and I can just give it to you. Because what's the point in having duplicates?
Right.
21 Jump Street.
Okay.
Hoosiers.
Oh.
And then I also bought 3 Funko Pops.
Really? That's out of your wheelhouse, Bob.
Yeah. So I bought one of them. I hope she's not listening. I bought one for my mother.
Okay.
She's a big fan of Prince. And there was a Prince Funko Pop. So I bought one. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening. Ruined the surprise. And then I bought 2 other ones, which were Michael Jordan.
Oh, of course, yeah.
For myself. And, of course, Bret the Hitman Hart.
Very nice.
So I have 3 personal Funko Pops, being Macho Man, of course, Bret, and Michael Jordan. And yes, I took them out of the box, and they're on my bookshelf.
It's solid. Solid. Very
Although
nice.
I have talked to you about all my action figures and how I've contemplated about taking them out of the plastic, and you said absolutely not.
No.
That they die in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I might have to put them out. I don't know.
Wow. All right, folks. Well, you heard it here on IcoPod. Bob is basically a lunatic.
Well, I mean, I'm not selling them.
No, but it's like the display. That's your you don't have a display case. That's your display case. The packaging. You're never gonna pose them and stand them better than the packaging is doing.
I know, but then what if I actually want to play with them?
Well, then you look yourself in the mirror and say, "Wow, I'm
what
30."
What if I want to have a Hollywood Blondes against the Shield ladder match?
Well, then you're fucked, Bob.
I can't. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want to have a Sparky Plug, Rick Rude steel cage match.
Fuck yeah, you're right. Maybe you should open them.
I should just open them.
Yeah.
There's no way. I don't have the same imagination as I did as a kid.
Oh, dude.
A couple of years ago, I thought about, I should get a ring. This was when I was single and no one was over here. I should get a ring and I can just play with my wrestling guys. And the more I thought about it, I was like, there's no fucking way. There's no way. When I was a kid, I used to play video games and be the commentators.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I used to do I'm probably schizophrenic. I would do both. I would do the regular guy and the color I'd have different voices as a complete lunatic. And I can't do that now.
So, like, your parents would walk by your room and be like, yikes.
My mom thought it was adorable.
Oh.
Yeah.
How cute. Bobby needs medicine.
My son's a serial killer. This is great.
Oh, man. That's all right. Me and Hogan 98 Money used to set up his entire bedroom, and we would play wrestling, like, with the wrestling figures for a half a day at a time.
Sure.
Just hours spent. We had booking sheets, fucking tiers, whole backstage set, dude. It was a dream come true.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do that with my wrestlers. What I did that with my fantasy booking that I'm really big into.
Yeah.
So like in middle school and high school, I'd have like 4 notebooks, and everybody thought I was like a really good note taker. No, it was just filled with fantasy booking of wrestling.
And they're like, dude, you're a fucking nerd.
I would literally write out the complete matches, and you've seen how I've done it, like typing up wise.
Yeah.
I would write them out, and I'd be like, let's say it's Ken Shamrock against Steve Austin or something. For each line, I would consider that like 30 seconds to a minute. So I was like, if I wanted to go 20 minutes, I got to write 20 lines. So I'd put a dash, and I was like, I have to write it out to this point. Yeah, I was a moron.
It's fucking brutal.
I was a lunatic.
Okay.
And the amount of times that I would throw it all away and restart, not healthy. This is not.
Like, nah, we don't like that. Scrap it.
You know how many times I would do like The Rock against Tommy Dreamer in a 10,000 thumbtack barbed wire steel cage match?
Oh.
On a Thunder? A lot. Okay? A lot. Yeah, I was not bright. But I'm not bright because I watched 2 more weeks of WWF 1994.
Yeah.
So we might as well just kind of do the mercy killing and just start this episode the way everybody probably wants us to, and that's actually providing information.
Yeah.
So let's go right into Observer Notes. There's only a couple this week. The Raw on October 3rd, which was last week, it featured Bulldog and Neidhart. That got a 2.7 rating. So a little bit of a bump up compared to the Drosy Lawler episode, but still probably a disappointment. It's Bulldog's first Raw match.
Right.
Not very strong. And then a little bit of news here for WrestleMania 11, which I believe it takes place in April of 95. So pre-planning here a little bit. WrestleMania 11 is probably going to be taking place in Connecticut, but there's not a concrete town or city or just in the state of Connecticut.
That's not good.
No, Connecticut doesn't seem like a big wrestling town.
No, people ain't flying to Connecticut to come see WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Vince is just like, it's down the street from my house. I can just go to bed.
Yeah, we can save on shipping the ring. We'll just pull the one out of the headquarters.
That wouldn't surprise me, honestly. Let's go to some house show notes. There's two of them. One will be WWF, and the other one will still be USWA. I think I'm really going to incorporate USWA.
Okay.
Moving forward here. The WWF had a show in Sunrise, Florida, October 9th, 1994, with 1,300 fans in attendance. And the card featured the following matches. Bob Holly taking on Scott Norton. IRS in singles action against the 1-2-3 Kid. Bushwhackers in tag team action against Well Done. Lex Luger squaring off against Tatanka. Adam Bomb battling Bam-Bam Bigelow. WWF Intercontinental Champion Razor Ramon defending against Owen Hart. Smoking Guns in tag team action against the Heavenly Bodies. WWF World Champion Bret Hart defending against Jim Neidhart. And The Undertaker squaring off against Yokozuna in a casket match.
I think I'm going to that show.
Why is that? Because I believe like a very similar card, you said no.
Well, firstly, it's close.
Well, yeah, I guess.
It's in the same state as me. Secondly, I don't have a whole lot of wrestling to see down here, Bob. So, like, what else better do I got?
What do you mean you don't have a whole lot of wrestling? You have NXT right literally 15 minutes away from you.
They're not at Full Sail anymore, are they?
Yes, they are. Every freaking week.
Well, no, they do the tapings.
It's alive every Wednesday.
Bull.
It's alive now every Wednesday. They don't tape them anymore.
From Full Sail?
Yes, to combat AEW.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, every Wednesday. Could you get a ticket for it? Probably not. It's probably sold out.
Yeah,
but,
I was gonna say.
But regardless, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. Well, regardless, as far as like indie, like there's no indie Orlando company that's gonna be worth like you going out of your way to go see.
Full Impact Pro.
Where?
I don't know. It's somewhere in Florida.
Yeah, somewhere in Florida. I
US
said Orlando, motherfucker.
USA Pro Wrestling, Frank Goodman. His shows are only about 6.5 to 7 hours long.
Yeah, so needless to say, there is no good
Wow, I tried.
shit to watch down here. So you know what? Out of boredom, I'm going and getting cheap seats to this, so I can boo Undertaker Yokozuna out of the fucking building.
Well, you know what? I'll go with you, but I'm not watching the Bushwhackers. Well Done.
I think you should.
No, I'm gonna hard pass that. I'm surprised I got no reaction for the Scott Norton appearance. You're a pretty big Scott Norton fan.
Since when?
You're a big Scott Norton fan because he saw your story on your Facebook page.
You know who watched my Facebook story yesterday?
Who?
Bad Luck Fale. Like, what are you fucking? Yeah. What are you fucking doing, dude?
It's a random thing.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, man. Okay. Cool. Me playing with my cat on my couch. I'm so glad you watched and tuned in.
Well, we know his weakness. It's a cat.
Fucking Bullet Club, dude. For life.
Oh, my God. Let's go to Memphis, Tennessee, October 10th, 1994, the Mid-South Coliseum for some USWA action. They drew 1,150 fans for a card that featured the following matches. Jeff Gaylord in singles action against Tony Williams. Moondog Rex against Reggie B. Fine. USWA champion Tommy Rich defending against Buddy Landell. PG-13 and Miss Texas against the Phantoms and Fantasia. Moondog Spot against Spellbinder. Miss Texas squared off against Fantasia in a singles match.
Oh.
Jerry Lawler and Randy Hales squaring off against Tommy Rich and Scott Bowden. And the main event saw USWA Unified World Champion Sid Vicious defending against Lord Humongous. I want to know, what is the USWA Unified World Champion compared to the USWA Champion?
I'm kind of more interested in the Sid Lord Humongous match.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Sid used to wrestle as Lord Humongous, so I'm assuming
it's a gimmick.
Right. They brought in somebody that was like playing into his past or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten that far in my USWA watching.
I'm gonna skip. I'm skipping.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip it as well. That's just not a, I don't know, not a very strong looking card.
There's not enough on the marquee to make me be like, fuck, I should probably go see this.
Yeah. It might be different though next week. I feel like next week you'll go to that show, but we'll get to that when we get to it next week. Syndication notes, just one piece of news here, and it's pretty big. That's because King Kong Bundy made his official in-ring return to the WWF on the October 8th edition of Superstars. Probably the most excited return debut that we've encountered this far on IcoPod.
Can you hear my excitement?
Yeah, you're literally jumping up, about to do a cartwheel, and I don't know how I feel about it.
I'll say one thing about King Kong Bundy in 1994. He looks exactly like he did in 1986.
Yeah, just a little older, but yeah.
Yeah, but like visually, same thing.
Yeah. Same look.
So that's kind of cool. Really quickly too, as far as Superstars. Lately, the feeling I'm getting is like they're moving over a lot of the content from Superstars and putting it on Raw.
So, are you talking about like highlight videos and stuff, or
highlight videos, even like the match bookings? I feel like, oh, this is a Superstars match.
Yeah, you might be right. I think in a couple of areas they've like Superstars has lost syndication.
Oh, okay.
So they might be putting them on Raw to make sure that those markets are getting what they need to see. Like I know, for instance, in San Francisco, they lost syndication.
Okay.
So they don't have TV in that area, especially for like the Cow Palaces.
Right.
So they might be putting it on Raw that way. At least somebody knows what's going on.
No, right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
What doesn't make sense is that we sat through this next episode, which is, of course, October 10th, 1994, from Utica, New York, for some Monday Night Raw. The show opens up with the $1 Million Corporation coming down to the ring for the featured match between Bam-Bam Bigelow and Lex Luger, and that leads us into our actual Raw opening video package, which is it this week or next week that has like an ad for Stridex?
That'll be next week, and it's the first time we see that.
Yeah, that's the first. Okay. So ignore that part, folks. It's not.
Yeah, and then really quickly, too. So instead of opening with the opening video, we open right up with, like, the entrances. First thing I notice off the bat, Bam Bam's beard is really light again. And it's just really not a good look for his double chin underneath. Like, it really...
Look for him in general. He needs facial hair.
It needs to be, like, the thick, fully grown-in beard. Not, like, the trimmed, like, 5 o'clock shadow look. It's not good.
It's like me. It's like I'm Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, but you don't have a double chin underneath.
I mean, I kind of do when I. Well,
you
when
do
I
have
purposely do it.
You have a very defined chin, so I'm surprised you don't shave your face more.
No, I can't have my. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I look horrible without a beard.
No, you got like the little butt chin and like the strong jaw.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I don't want to have my jaw out like Sergeant Slaughter.
It doesn't look like that.
Shut up, you little maggot.
It doesn't look like that.
Or like Sid, you know. It's a battle of the chins.
Sid's got a fucking jawline. For sure. Yeah.
Sure does. All right, let's get right into our first match. It's Lex Luger squaring off against Bam Bam Bigelow. And here comes a description for it that I'm sure everybody's going to be looking forward to. I can hardly contain my excitement. Luger is cornered by Bigelow, Volkov, and Tatanka. He goes right after Tatanka, who's not in the match, but he must hate Tatanka far more than he hates Bigelow. So that allows Bigelow to get control with the right hands, a few headbutts to start the contest, stomps away on Luger and delivers a shoulder block. Scoop slam by Bigelow for another near fall. Luger sends Bigelow into the ropes and he nails him with a back elbow, which sends Bigelow to the floor. Luger hammers away on Bigelow in the corner and then wrenches on Bigelow's arm with a wrist lock. Armbar by Luger to keep control. Bigelow trips Luger, but misses a standing elbow drop. Luger continues to punch Bigelow's arm and goes back to an armbar. Bigelow is backed into the ropes. Eye rakes Luger. Bigelow power slams Luger as he comes off the ropes and he gets a 2 count. Bigelow with a falling headbutt and heads to the top rope. He leaps off and he misses. Luger knocks Volkov off the apron. He nails Bigelow with a running form smash for another near win. Luger continues to control Bigelow with an armbar as King Kong Bundy makes his way down to the ringside area. Bigelow attacks Luger from behind. He drops Luger throat first across the top rope as Raw goes to commercial. When we come back from commercial, Mabel and Adam Bomb have now made their way down to ringside to attempt to even the odds. Bigelow chokes Luger across the top rope for a few moments. Bigelow plants Luger with a DDT, but only gets a 2 count on the cover attempt. Bigelow clotheslines Luger, and he gets another 2 count. Bigelow leaps up and kicks Luger on the side of the head with both feet, and he gets another 2 count. Bigelow has a sleeper hold on Luger to maintain control of the contest. Luger battles to his feet, and he elbows out and runs into a knee lift from Bigelow. Bigelow nails Luger with a falling headbutt. Luger blocks the right hand, battles back with a few of his own. Bigelow rakes Luger's eyes and chokes him across the middle rope. Bigelow runs into a big boot in the corner twice. Luger with a flurry of right hands and comes off the ropes with a few clotheslines to knock Bigelow down. DiBiase is on the apron as Tatanka grabs Luger's leg. Luger kicks Tatanka into the guard railing. Bigelow proceeds to then collide with Tatanka on the apron, allowing Luger to roll Bigelow up from behind to win the match. After the match, Mabel and Adam Bomb celebrate the win with Lex Luger. Also, Bigelow and Tatanka have a, I guess you could say, argument on the floor. Austin has shown his great excitement by continually showing me stickers of a bird and SpongeBob. So that was just splendid. Did you enjoy this match nearly as much as you did trying to distract me?
Fuck no. No. Absolutely not.
Are you off of the Lex Luger train yet?
I'll give WWF credit for one thing. At least now Lex feels like he's where he's supposed to be, nowhere near the main event.
Yeah.
So, like, there's that for you. And all this is, Bob, is like a typical, like, oh, it's Columbus Day. So, like, let's push Lex out there with the American flag. Let's have this dramatic little opening match with, like, a big win for Lex. That's what this was. I don't like that now they're calling his finish the Rebel Rack. I feel like that's...
God, I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, I feel like it's very Southern. Like, oh, the Rebel Rack. Like, he should be coming out with, like, the Confederate flag if he's doing the Rebel Rack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just would much rather have the Independence Rack. Give me something that's more, I don't know. Rebel just feels so exclusive. I don't really like that.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
A lot of strikes, rest hold. Although these guys did play off each other fairly well. When I'm saying these guys, I'm saying Lex and Bam Bam. But again, it was basically a superstars match here. Really nothing going on. I'm glad that Bundy's pretty much a shoe-in for Ted DiBiase's corporation. That's what we talked about a week or two ago. Like, hey, if he's coming in.
He was announced as the newest addition.
Yeah, well, I remember saying, like, this is what I'd want him to do if he's coming back. So that was a nice kind of affirmation of feelings. I thought it was pretty funny that Mabel and Bomb come down to help, like, even the odds, because here you are, ladies and gentlemen. This is your mid-card on full display here. All these guys. This is what it's going to be. With that said, you know, the roll-up finish, it was kind of a clean win. I mean, despite the miscommunication or whatever. The crowd did react pretty well. I don't know. And then like the Tatanka Bam Bam arguing on the outside. Yeah, it's a nice callback to their feud. But now I'm starting to think that like that's the whole reason they're in the corporation to begin with, is so they can argue and like break off and feud again. And I really hope that's not the case. But who knows? You know, Lex celebrates the win here as if he won the fucking title. He's got the flag, the lights. He's like emotional. It's just very out of place, and you know that the only reason it's going off and unraveling like this is because it's a fucking bank holiday in America.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't like this for several reasons. Number one, I was bored. Number two, I don't like that Bigelow got pinned. I feel like when you have the corporation or the $1 million corporation, they need to be having like momentum in a positive way.
Right.
When you have a group of now Bundy, Bigelow, Tatanka, Volkov, and
IRS,
right? So there's your 5. You need to have those. I feel like you got to build those guys up because really they're the only heel stable, and then realistically they should be seen as potential challengers to anybody that has champions like Bret Hart. Those could be 5 challengers for him, or whichever. And to have them lose to really anybody at this point just kind of blows my mind. Right. Sure, it's Lex Luger, whatever. This kind of felt like a force down your throat again for Luger to win.
Yes.
I did not like the aftermath of Tatanka and Bigelow arguing because you're already teasing dissension in a group that just formed.
Exactly.
I hate when they do that. You have to have at least a few months. I'd say 6 months where like it's cohesive, it's working.
Yeah.
And then something happens where it just it crumbles.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Luger at this point. I haven't been a fan of Luger for over a year. And Bigelow's value is just free falling to just unbelievable levels at this point. Let's go to a video from WWF Superstars where Bob Backlund was on the Heartbreak Hotel with Shawn Michaels and Diesel. Michaels says that Backlund is a madman and he's someone that they want to party with. But Backlund is not very receptive to that and says that, Michaels and Diesel, you guys are 2 people that I don't see myself hanging out with, nor would I want to hang out with you, which I thought was kind of funny. Backlund claims to be the WWF World Champion and has been waiting for 10 years to get possession of his championship back. Backlund wants WWF World Champion Bret Hart to wrestle him. So it would appear that we have dodged a bullet. It's not going to be Bret and Jim Neidhart, but now it might be Bret and Bob Backlund. Where do we stand on that one, Austin?
It's the lesser of 2 evils for sure. Because at least Bob's character work will be able to carry me through some things, and hopefully Bret takes the lead on the matches. Yeah. I just again have to stress how much I absolutely fucking love just the sheer shitheadedness and cockiness of Diesel and Shawn Michaels. Because the entire time that Bob Backlund is talking, and mind you, the camera's trying to cut Shawn and Diesel out of the picture, so it's focused on Bob. But, like, you can still kind of see him. They're either, like, making faces or, like, talking with their hands, rolling their eyes. Like, they're no selling the fuck out of Bob Backlund's promo here. And, dude, I forget what Diesel did. Diesel did something in the very beginning when they're showing this clip. And it genuinely just cracked me up how much these guys are A, having fun, and B, having fun at other people's expenses on live TV. Like, it's fucking awesome. Shawn Michaels basically has become my spirit animal over the last 2 months. Especially like 90s fucking douchebag Shawn Michaels. So like, I don't know if you've noticed, Bob, but like I'll post a status on Facebook and attach like a 90s Shawn Michaels GIF with it. Just cause like it's fucking perfect. So I don't know, man. I'm a huge, huge fan of people when they're genuinely having fun. Owen Hart, when he's out there genuinely having fun, I fucking love it. Shawn, Diesel, Razor, 123 Kid, Fatu, all these guys when they go out and like they put everything aside, all the BS aside, and they just go out there and genuinely have fun enjoying what they're doing. I live for that shit. I think that makes for the best TV. That makes for the most believable characters. And at the end of the day, those are the ones that you remember. Same with Brett. Some of the shit he does in the ring. It's just like, I don't know, man. For me, like that's what sells it. So whenever these guys are on TV, any number of those guys are on TV, I'm hooked. I'm watching. I'm interested. So it's just another case here where, yeah, Bob's like, oh, I've been the champion for 10 years. Brett should just walk out and face me, like trying to cut this intense promo. Shawn and Diesel are undermining him the entire time. And it's just fucking so funny.
I feel like I'm kind of at that point with Shawn. I feel like since early 93, which would be the beginning of this, he's become a substantially better talker and overall performer.
It's just not as cheesy. Like
I'm going to scalp you.
Yeah, and it's like he's way too much playing a character rather than turning up his own personality.
Yeah.
I think that switch has been made that we've watched unfold really when Diesel came in. Because I remember the chemistry they had right off the bat, and it was like, holy shit, this is going to be the Shawn Michaels that we're going to see for the next, 6 years.
Right.
So it's really fun because every time they're on camera, I just feel like their chemistry is better and better. And I think Diesel is coming out of his shell more, and I think Diesel might even be a bigger dick than Shawn Michaels is. He's just not as outward with it.
Right.
So I don't know. It makes for fun TV, man. I really enjoy it.
Who would have thought we would be grateful for a Bret Hart Bob Backlund match?
Yeah.
In 1994, but compared to Jim Neidhart, what else are your options?
Completely, yeah.
Speaking of options, let's go to our second match. It's Mabel taking on Reno Riggins. Of course, Mabel has pretty much no issue here with Mr. Riggins, and he wins the squash following a leg drop coming off the ropes. I wonder if this is a shot at Hulk Hogan. Probably not.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what I fucking was super hyped about. Mabel coming out solo.
So I was wondering the same thing because was Oscar there at SummerSlam?
Yeah.
Okay. So I wonder if like both Mo and Oscar are gone.
Well, and
Which
it's
would
funny.
kind of blow my mind.
Yeah, it's funny too because usually Oscar's the one wrapping him out to the ring, but literally Mabel does it himself this time. So I feel like if Oscar was coming back, they probably wouldn't have done that.
I feel like Oscar's gone. I think I would have to imagine Mo would be returning
Probably.
at some point.
Yeah.
At some point, he has to come back.
But just the fact that now Mabel's able to stand on his own 2 feet, I'm automatically more interested. The fact that they're trimming like the fat away, so to speak. And it's like, okay, we know Mabel was the guy. Let's see if we can do the spotlight on him and let's change him up a little bit and see what we can get out of him. I'm willing to give it a shot. No more Oscar. Fuck you out of that. Him rapping with himself and kind of getting the crowd into it. Okay, that's fine. Mabel didn't leave his feet the entire match, by the way, obviously. During this match, Savage is putting over his own appearance in the Columbus Day Parade in New York City. And as Bob says, we get the big leg drop for the finish. I feel like we're seeing a lot of leg drops on TV lately. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Is that a shot to Hulk Hogan? Is it? I don't know. Are people trying to outdo each other? I just don't know what it is. But again, Kid, Nakano, Yoko, Mabel, all these people are just throwing leg drops. Usually is like a finish. So like it's just weird. But yeah, I mean, it was quick, which it needed to be. And again, the fact that Oscar wasn't out there, I was excited about that. I was hyped for that.
Wow, you're hyped up for a guy losing his job. That is terrific.
Yeah, see ya.
Adios, amigos.
Fuck.
We got a video for next week's edition of Raw, and it's the featured match. It's going to be Double J, Jeff Jarrett taking on Doink the Clown. As you will recall, a few months ago, they kind of had a TV feud for a minute. Jeff kind of dressing up as Doink, tricking Dink. I guess this will be the blow off for that. They haven't really put a lot of focus on that. It's more so been Doink and now Waller.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess they have to finish angles that they start. Can't say I'm excited for it, but at least it'll be a conclusion.
Just when I think that Jeff fucking dodged a moving train, turns out he just turned around and it smashed right into him. He's like, oh, fuck. God damn it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, needless to say, not looking forward to that. Really quick here, too, we got a video presentation that brought us back to earlier today when the Columbus Day parade was being taken place. And it says that Savage was aboard the Cooley's Anemia Foundation float, which I thought was hilarious because it's very obvious that WWF was given no presence in the Columbus Day parade. Really, probably the only reason Savage was aboard that float was due to his name being like big in the charity world. Right. But here's WWF like piggybacking on it and being like, oh, we were there. Like, bitch, no the fuck you were not. Randy Savage was there representing Randy Savage. So I just think it's funny and another like political grab to be like, oh, we're good people.
Absolutely.
So that's, I don't know. I just wanted to point that out and be like, well, there you go. There's that.
Well, when you constantly put out all the good deeds that you've done, at some point it starts feeling like they're not good deeds and they're just something that you want to kind of brag about or
make yourself feel better. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Not make, not to look as bad as you truly are, but who's to say? I don't know. I can't sit here and tell you that Vince McMahon's a bad guy. I don't know. Let's go to our third contest. It's Owen Hart taking on John Crystal. Pretty self-explanatory here, as you imagine with any squash match. Owen's able to win the match pretty easily with the sharp shooter. I know we're pretty disappointed about Owen kind of being, I guess you could say, kicked out of the main event scene and being replaced with Jim Neidhart and Bob Backlund. But hopefully Owen can find his way back in the main event scene. At least on the house shows, he's in the Intercontinental title run.
Yeah.
Which would be, I could maybe settle for that.
Yeah. It's better than nothing.
It's better than being a complete joke and losing all the time.
Right.
Although he might rather lose all the time in the main event than win all the time mid-card, but
mid-card.
It's okay.
Yeah. I would probably be that guy too.
Yeah, I would take the main event money and lose than be a winner and not getting the same money.
I agree.
We get another video from WWF Superstars where The Undertaker had cut a promo on Yokozuna, which has now, I think, been 3 weeks in a row. Taker asks Yokozuna honestly, though, or he honestly thought he could end The Undertaker. He then tells Yoko that the time has come for Yokozuna to pay for his crimes. Bear chimes in and gives Yokozuna a sneak peek at his final resting place, which would be, of course, a coffin. Is this changing your opinion of this now year-long feud that had a 10-month break?
It's funny because it's like paint by numbers, right? So plug in any Undertaker promo that features a casket. Here it is.
Yeah.
Here it is for the last 3 weeks. Same one. Are they saying different things? Yeah. But is it the same fucking thing? Yeah, it is. Not a change of scenery. You know that they sat for a half a day cutting probably 15 promos in the same location, saying the same thing, just in like different orders.
Absolutely.
It just feels so fucking basic and cheap. I just don't, my interest level couldn't be any lower for this feud, these matches, this live show tour. Like, I don't give a fuck about it. And really quick, going back to the Owen Hart match, because I feel like I kind of glossed over that. Yeah. It was okay. I feel like Owen was giving the guy way too much. And at first, it was almost being promoted as like Owen and Anvil taking on two guys. But then it just ends up being like an Owen singles match, which I'm not complaining, but I thought that was a little weird.
Oh yeah, when like the picture ad had both of them on it.
Yeah,
Be
it was like,
inclined to think it
oh,
was a tag.
right. So that was throwing me off a little bit. A lot of BS on commentary too during this match. You know, Vince is telling us, oh, Jack Tunney will be on the Late Show singing with Barry Manilow. Bull Nakano will be Princess Leia in the new Star Wars movies to come out over the next couple of years. Like, he's just fucking taking you completely out of the action.
Yeah.
And another thing that's bugging me about Owen is how quickly he dropped the King shit. Like, yeah, they're calling him the King of Hearts, but he's not coming out with the stuff anymore. So that's kind of bumming me out.
Yeah, that's why I've always liked. I mean, we mentioned it before. When you're the king, come out with the stuff. I mean, I know Brett didn't do it, but I feel like it's usually a heel thing to do.
Yeah, it's heel. Yeah, definitely.
You know? So yeah, I'm also surprised that it's been 4 months and it's just like, nah, I'm good. I'll tell you I'm the King of Hearts, but I won't visually show you that I am.
Right. So that kind of bums me out. So I don't know. Not a super great showing here for Owen. Very forgettable. Just like this fucking Undertaker promo. Because if you've seen one, you've seen all Undertaker promos. So there you go.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Let's go to our fourth contest. It is the debut on Raw for King Kong Bundy as he's taking on Mike Corey. Bundy, throughout the match, showcases his whole, I count till 5, referee, all that other type of bullshit. It worked in 86. It will work in 94. I guess that's the logic here.
Yeah.
Bundy wins his return match following a big splash in the corner. I don't know how Bundy fits in the 1994 era here of the WWF.
He doesn't.
He would fit in more so with like WCW. That's where Hogan's at. That's where all of his buddies are at.
Yeah.
But here he is now in the WWF. Doesn't really make much sense to me. I have no interest in Bundy. I don't think I've ever enjoyed his work. My favorite thing maybe would be him on Married with Children. But hey.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I think the biggest pop for me for this whole thing is like, as Bundy's coming out, the enhancement guy's like flexing to the crowd in the ring as if he's not about to get absolutely fucking murdered.
Well, King Kong Bundy. Yeah, well, Corey's the guy that's, built. So that doesn't surprise me that he's trying to get over with the crowd a little bit.
Well, and then it's funny too because like when the bell rings or whatever, they start the match. Bundy definitely goes to like impressively shove him off, and he no-sells it. Like he kind of like stumbles backwards and is like, "Fuck, I gotta sell for this guy," and then flings himself into the corner, like forgetting that it's a match in front of people or something. Like I don't know. Yeah. But even Vince says something like, "Oh, it looks like he put himself in the corner. He was so scared." Like, no, he just wasn't selling it and was like, "Shit, I gotta sell this more."
Yeah.
So I thought that was really, really funny. Just a lot of like repetition with Bundy. He kept pulling the guy out of the pin to do the same 5 moves. So it was just like fucking overkill. No point in prolonging this match. You could tell too, Bundy gets the pin, right? It's a 3-count pin. And then he's like, no, do 2 more counts. But like the bell's already rang as music's already playing. Yeah. So they're not even going with that gimmick. They're like, no, 3, you're done. I find King Kong Bundy boring. There's nothing about him first of all, Bundy is no longer the most impressive looking guy on TV. Like there's other bigger guys.
But I don't even know, even back when he was there, that he was the most impressive looking big guy.
I don't know. In his peak, maybe.
I don't know.
But yeah, man, I don't know. It's just like you said, I don't know where he fits or if he fits at all at this point.
I would have to think he does not.
Yeah.
But we're going to be stuck with him, so.
Cool.
Lucky us.
Fucking great.
I'm going to have these next 2 segments just kind of run together, and then we can talk about it since it's kind of revolving the same situation here. We get another video from WWF Superstars where Doink the Clown and Dink messed with Jerry Lawler. Doink was on the jumbo screen, distracting Jerry Lawler, wanting a fight, laughing at him, all these things. And then Dink comes out of nowhere with a pie and he puts the pie down on Lawler's chair. And this finishes off with Doink suggesting, "Hey, Lawler, how about you take a seat?" And then Lawler, I guess, listening to a clown, proceeds to do just that. And he sits down on the pie, and that allows Doink and Dink to then laugh hysterically. Jerry Lawler is standing in the ring for another edition of King's Court. Lawler is going to talk about short people and how much he hates them. He brings up Dink and his dislike for Dink. He then introduces his guest who will take care of Dink, the man who pranked him. Now, mind you, again, Lawler hates short people, so he introduces his own dwarf, Queasy. Queasy is dressed pretty much exactly like Lawler. He makes his way down the ring. Queasy says he's going to squash Dink like the bug that he is. And that pretty much wraps up the King's Court. Arguably the, no pun intended here, shortest edition of King's Court. But now we have midgets, dwarfs, small people, however you want to say it, now involved with this for sure 100% comedy feud. I don't like it. I don't want to see it. And it's a waste of my time. So, Austin, what do you think of this whole miniature Doinks against apparently now miniature Kings and the Lawler Doink feud in general?
Well, I'll tell you what. I've loved a lot of shit on this show. I've hated a lot of shit on this show. Jumping right off the top of my head, I think I hate this shit the most out of anything else.
It has to be. It has to be.
I can't tell you how much I dislike feeling like I'm watching Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey on a weekly basis. And that's what this feels like. And it's no disrespect to, you know, the little people performers or anything like that. It's the entire context of King and Doink the Clown. Like, it's pure, like, C-level comedy. Like, nobody over the age of 10 is laughing at any of this shit.
No one.
And now the fact that, like, first of all, you know what's coming. You know Survivor Series around the corner. You know we are going to get an entire clown squad, an entire king squad, and that's going to be a match. And if it's not the main event, I'll be shocked the way they book shit. Because holy fuck, that's definitely what they're doing, and I'm pissed about it because this means this is going to take up way more TV time than it ever should. And the fact that it's already gotten TV time is too much TV time. It's not funny. It's not entertaining. It's not striking television. It's not must see. This is shit you do on a house show in local markets. You don't bring it up on TV. You pop the crowd and then you go home and you go on to the next town and you do it. You don't bring it to fucking Monday Night Raw because I don't know if you noticed, Bob, but like visually the crowd was not reacting at all. And the boos were so obviously piped in, it's ridiculous. You could tell the crowd didn't give a fuck about this. But then all these boos coming in, and you're looking at the crowd, and first of all, half the crowd's not even looking at the ring. Like, they don't even care. So it's so funny that they know people don't care, but they're expecting the people at home watching to care. That's such a long shot that if the live crowd isn't invested and they're there live, it's happening in front of them live. There's no fucking way people watching at home on their couch are going to give even half of a shit about this because I sure didn't. So I don't know, man. New generation. And then you give me like literally flea market circus shit. Like, I don't give a fuck about this. I don't care about this. Not many people at all probably care about this.
No, well, and you know, and the whole piping in of the crowd is like, it's from the WCW playbook.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know,
for sure. And I can remember even back to some of the earlier Raw episodes, they were doing that shit.
Oh, yeah.
So it's always sprinkled in here throughout, but like this was obvious. So obvious. So I don't know.
Well,
Not
I
a
mean,
fan.
like how, like why are you, as like any like writer or booker or anything, how are you possibly sitting there with the live crowd reaction and then justifiably continuing to put it on television? And at this point, if it's something as Survivor Series, you're doing it for a month and a half.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
Yeah.
If we keep on airing it, maybe they'll like it. I mean, I don't. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Let's go right into the main event here. It's the new head shrinkers, which is Fatu and Sion, taking on Corey Student and JS Storm. Luckily, the new head shrinkers are able to continue their momentum despite having a new partner here for Fatu. Sion pins Storm following a big boot to win the squash match for this team. I'm still a pretty big fan of the new head shrinkers. I think Sion is fit in pretty well. And I'm kind of hoping that we can get a Raw match here between the new head shrinkers and Diesel Shawn. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Now, they're on commentary calling him cousin Sione. Sione.
I like to say Sion.
So which one is it?
It's probably how they're saying it, but I like Sion. Sione? No. Sion.
All right. Well, I guess, because I was calling him Sion last week, too.
I will call him Sion. It is probably Sione, because that is how they're saying it. But I can pronounce names however I want.
All right. Well, I'm going to say Sione because that's what they're saying.
No, it's Sion.
No, I'm jumping off that wagon.
I will continue to call him Sion.
I'll tell you what. He beat Samu in the ring by a country mile.
Absolutely.
Overall presentation, team-wise, is off. There's definitely a disconnect there. And I think it's... I hate to say it, but I feel like Fatu kind of needs to mesh better with Sione. Because I think if you're calling yourself the new head shrinkers, you got to be different. You can't just go out there with the same shit. I'll tell you what, though. The finish, the fucking big boot, killed the guy. Took his head off. It looked like he ran into a brick wall. But I'll tell you what, too. I think the spotlight has been taken off of Fatu a little bit. I think this guy comes off as more of a badass than Fatu ever did. And this is the first time I'm seeing him.
Oh, I can't believe you're buying into this.
Dude, yeah.
They tried to make Sione in WCW like a main event guy with his big boot. It even had a pay-per-view match with Ron Simmons for the WCW World title. But no one really bought into it. But here you are buying into it here in 94.
As a tag guy who comes in and just kills people, yeah.
Or could you see him as a main eventer?
No.
Then you're not a true WCW fan.
No. I could see him going for the IC belt.
Oh my
And that's off a first fucking showing here.
Oh my god. I can't win with you.
They did make reference to a barbarian, though.
Of course they did.
Vince on commentary.
Of course they did.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I still don't know how to feel about the new head shrinkers. I think he's cool, but at the same time, for a team that I'm so used to being like interchangeable, the guys are interchangeable. Even though I liked Fatu a little bit better. Now it's like drastic. Now it's like, okay, it's two individuals teaming up. It's not like a unit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I like that necessarily, but I'm willing to give it a shot because this guy seems pretty badass so far. So I'll take it.
I'm surprisingly enjoying it. So I'm hopeful to see what can happen for the new head shrinkers moving forward. To close out the show, Doink the Clown and Dink come down to ringside to be interviewed by McMahon and Randy Savage. Doink gives the announcers Burger King crowns, of course, in reference to Jerry the King Lawler. Doink says he has a surprise on WWF Superstars, and it is a little surprise. Gee, I wonder what it could be. And that wraps up this edition of Raw. I hate my life. I hate that I sat down and watched this for 44 minutes of my precious time. This sucked. This has been the worst build for a pay-per-view that we've encountered to this point. At least
Hands
last year.
down.
Last
Hands
year's Survivor Series, like, people were getting injured and had to be replaced. And
I thought the build for last year was decent. I thought it was
compared to this, yeah, it was all right.
good. Yeah.
The show itself maybe wasn't that great, but
No.
but the build was, it was decent.
Yeah.
This is just fucking bad. Just the drizzling shits. I have no reason to want to, at this point, watch Survivor Series 1994.
No.
Awesome. What did you think of this horseshit?
Well, you skipped right over our favorite commercial that's been featured lately, and it's actually
the church one.
It's a new version of the church one.
Yeah.
So with this one, we get Razor Ramon's lower half of his face talking.
Yeah.
He says, "Yo, Father, last night I hurt somebody real bad." Father says, "Well, why did you do that?" He says, "Oh, I wanted his belt, man. He took the first swipe, and when he took the first swing, I raised him up high and slammed him." He says, and like the priest says, "Well, why'd you do that?" "No, he broke my toothpick." So Razor's basically beating the shit out of people for breaking a toothpick.
Yeah.
The priests then recognize him, ask him for autographs for the whole clergy, yada, yada, yada. Put your faith in us. At least it wasn't as cringy as the woman committing or admitting to wanting to commit adultery in the confessional.
Mm.
I think that was in a little bit worse taste than this. But still, like, it's just such a confusing message and just should be totally scrapped. It's just not a good look. Doesn't age well at all. Probably wasn't good then. And speaking of not good then and not aging well, like you said, Doink and Dink come down and they crown Vince and Savage. So they give him the Burger King crown. Savage was absolutely loving it. Was all about the little paper crown. He puts it on top of his hat. The fucking thing falls off and then hits Dink in the head and then falls to the ground. And this is all while the promo's happening. So Savage picks up the crown again, puts it back on his hat, and it stays for a little while. But then as they're going right off the air, it falls again, and then it hits Vince in the head, and they like fumble it, and they're like, oh, see you next week. So the fact that Savage kept putting it on his hat, knowing that it's going to fall off, is just fucking so funny. That I tuned out all the garbage and just enjoyed Randy Savage for being silly. Yeah. And that was really the only comedy I got out of the closing segment. So I'll tell you what, as far as an episode as a whole, this, I told Bob off the air, this literally it seemed like it took forever. It felt like I was watching this for 3 hours and it was 45 minutes. There really wasn't one segment or moment that had me like sit up straight and have my full attention. I was just kind of like going through the motions. And it just feels like at this point with WWF programming, we've ramped up the production and like the presentation, but anything else, booking wise, in ring wise, entertainment wise, we've taken 2 steps back. So it's like 1 step forward with the production and the presentation, 2 steps back with the action and entertainment value. It just feels like cheap TV, something you would just maybe come across like daytime. You like see soap operas and then Raw's on and then you just skip through and it's just fucking the Steve Wilkos show. Like nobody gives a fuck about any of that shit. It just comes off as cheap filler TV. And why should we care? There's nothing going on.
To be fair, I do enjoy myself a good Steve Wilkos or Jerry Springer episode.
Well, but you know what I mean.
Well, I'm just saying.
If you miss an episode, it's the same shit next week. You can tune in next week.
That's not necessarily true. You know what? I'll leave a cliffhanger.
Oh, boy.
Next week, I'll tell you about an episode of Jerry Springer that I watched the other day that had me losing my mind. But I'll have to tell you guys next week.
Oh, boy.
So, cliffhanger.
Yeah, I don't know.
For Austin, it'll be like 10 minutes from now. But for you guys, you got to wait another week.
Shit, I'm not excited.
Should be great.
I wasn't excited watching this either, and I don't know if I'm excited for next week fucking at all. So
Yeah, it's been brutal. It was a rough week. But I guess my motivation to continue going on is just to get to 95, because I feel like 95 is when it really really kind of changes things a little bit. So that's my motivation, because this is honestly, if we weren't doing this podcast and let's say I was watching Raw's in order, after these last like 6 episodes, I'd be probably taking a little while to resume it.
yeah, dude, it's just I think like looking back and thinking back, we've had some rough stretches where we're like, oh fuck, just get us to the pay-per-view, just get us to the Super Show, just get us to the end of the year. I think this stretch is the worst stretch we've gone through.
Yeah, there's
It,
nothing even close to it.
and as long as it's been.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it's been long and it's been rough. Like I told Bob off the air, it's almost getting to the point where with these episodes, it's starting to feel like a chore to do IcoPod. And like, I don't want it to feel like that because I enjoy doing this still.
Right.
So this is like this couple of months here that we're these, month and a half, is definitely been like a momentum killer for sure. So it's getting to the point where, again, here we are recording on a Sunday because I didn't have the motivation to watch these 2 fucking episodes, just like last week. Yeah. So that's not good. Like, we need to get back on the train here. We need to get through this fucking bullshit so we can get to some just better, more quality stuff.
Well, and what's good for us too, and we've mentioned it before, is that after next week's episode, we're taking a break, and the next time that we will watch anything is when you're here for Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah.
On December 1st, we'll do a kind of, I guess, like a sample of live watches, because that's what we're going to do. As soon as we get to 95, we're switching to a more live watch oriented podcast, because, we've mentioned it before, as our lives are ever changing, to dedicate ourselves for 4 to 5 hours a week. In some cases, watching horrible professional wrestling. Why not maybe cut that in half? And just talk about it as we see it for the first time. So, or for the first time in a long time, at the very least. So.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. So SummerSlam '94 plays a big part in that, like we've talked about before. I really genuinely think that there's better reactions, better live banter, all that sort of thing when it comes to actually watching it for us. The only thing I'm a little worried about is going to be like the promo stuff. And really diving deep into things as we are able to with the notes and stuff, and where we're able to take time and we're not watching it, in sync with as we're talking about it. So that's the only thing I'm worried about. But at the same time, I think for you guys too, it'll be more of a casual listen. Like, you're not going to have to sit down and digest each episode, because realistically, we're doing that for you. So, I don't know. I think in the long run, it'll be better for both sides of the microphone. And I am looking forward to 1995 and kind of the hidden gems sprinkled throughout, as Bob has promised me. So, we'll see how it goes.
Well, with the whole promo thing, I mean, we could probably solve that by, like, if you were to watch it on your computer, instead of on your television. Have the volume a little bit going on the network while still listening to what I have to say. You could probably
something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's just we'll have to adjust to it and everything, and hopefully everybody that listens will still enjoy us and not ditch us for other podcasts out there.
There is no other podcast. This is the premier podcast.
Yeah, right. Don't get it twisted.
All right.
All right, Austin, you got anything else here for episode 95?
That shall be that.
All right, then. For Austin Skinner, I'm Bob Conley Jr., and this has been IcoPod.
You gotta hear it.